Listen to me right now. Do not spend these coins, I am serious, somewhere in your pocket, your drawer, your car cup holder there. Could be a heavy old American coin that looks absolutely ordinary, but it is hiding history, power, and value that has shocked collectors, museums, and private vaults across the United States, and most people never notice it. Welcome back to Rare Coins Info, where we uncover the stories your pocket change has been waiting decades to tell. This is not just a video, this is a warning and a discovery wrapped together. Imagine a single American coin designed during a moment of national emotion, a coin struck to represent strength, loss, pride, and legacy. Its metal composition, its bold portrait, its sharp details were never meant to be ordinary. These coins were engineered with symbolism, weight, and precision, and over time certain examples became legendary not because of shine, but because of survival condition, rarity, and historical demand. Another coin born for everyday use, simple, humble, often ignored, yet behind that familiar design lies one of the most complex production stories in U.S. coinage. Variations in strike pressure, metal flow, and die life created pieces so scarce that collectors have spent lifetimes searching for them. These coins quietly crossed hands while fortunes slipped past unnoticed. What makes these coins powerful is not luck, it is knowledge, knowing what details to look for, how to understand design, depth, edge, strength, relief, quality, and historical context. This is how hidden coins turn into national treasures. Stay with Rare Coins Info, because once you see these coins the same way again, you will never spend them the same way again. The 1974 Jefferson nickel is not merely a piece of pocket change, it is a window into American history, a silent witness to decades of circulation, and an object that for the discerning collector holds secrets of untold value. At first glance, it appears ordinary, with Thomas Jefferson facing left on the obverse and the familiar Monticello on the reverse. Yet for numismatists, every line, every contour, every tiny imperfection tells a story, and in the case of the 1974 Jefferson nickel, this story has captured the imagination of collectors for generations. Struck at the Denver Mint, this coin carries the D Mint mark indicating its origin, and while millions were produced, only a rare few have survived in conditions that make them highly sought after. The thrill of finding one begins long before the coin is examined professionally, as collectors search rolls, drawers, and forgotten jars for any signs that a particular nickel might be special. The diameter of this coin is 21 millimeters with a thickness of 1.95 millimeters and a weight of 5 grams. Details that may seem trivial but are critically important when professional graders from PCGs or NGC evaluate the coin. Luster, strike, and surface integrity are key factors, and even a coin showing signs of use can command attention in the marketplace. The 1974 D is known for subtle anomalies that can significantly affect value, including minor die cracks, doubled strikes, and slight variations in metal flow, which create uniqueness and narrative behind each coin. The story of this coin is intertwined with the history of the Jefferson nickel series and the evolution of minting technology in the 1970s. Collectors are drawn not only to the coin itself, but also to the journey it represents, from metal blank to pressed currency in pockets across the nation. Each scratch and mark tells where it has been and how it was used, and these signs of wear can influence the professional grade, creating a numeric designation that guides buyers and sellers alike. Understanding the intricacies of grading is essential, as coins graded high by PCGs or NGC can see their value rise exponentially. Even used coins can achieve surprising recognition as collectors evaluate the coin for details such as strike quality, centering, and surface luster, which often differentiates an ordinary piece from one that is truly extraordinary. Collectors must also be aware of the historical minting context. In 1974, when the U.S. Mint produced billions of nickels, but only a very small number retained the qualities that define a high-value coin, the hunt for a 1974 Jefferson nickel is thrilling and sometimes frustrating, as collectors sort through thousands of coins, hoping to spot the subtle clues that indicate a valuable specimen. Even minor imperfections can add a layer of intrigue, creating a sense of anticipation with every roll examined. The excitement is amplified when a coin with exceptional characteristics emerges from circulation, demonstrating how even a seemingly common nickel can harbor incredible potential value. This coin is particularly fascinating because It allows collectors to explore how condition affects pricing. A used 1974 D. Jefferson nickel may show wear yet still retain significant value, as anomalies, imperfections, or historical context make it desirable. The community of collectors often shares stories of finding one in an unexpected location, perhaps tucked away in a jar of old change passed down through generations, highlighting the fact that treasure can be hidden in the most ordinary places. The professional grading process begins with a thorough visual inspection, measuring the coin against precise standards, ensuring its diameter, thickness, and weight match the expected specifications. Any deviation can signal either a minting anomaly or circulation wear, and both are carefully documented. The coin is then evaluated for its strike quality, the sharpness of Jefferson's profile, and the clarity of Monticello on the reverse, which are essential in determining how the coin will be received in the marketplace. Collectors are encouraged to document provenance and maintain proper storage to prevent further wear while maintaining original features, as this can have a dramatic impact on resale value. Professional graders meticulously assess every surface and subtle luster, and the resulting grade can transform a common circulated coin into a highly desirable collectible. In the eyes of investors and enthusiasts alike, the 1974 D. Jefferson nickel is therefore much more than metal. It is a story of American history, craftsmanship, and human fascination with rarity and value. And as we delve further into its unique traits, we begin to understand why a coin that seems ordinary can create extraordinary excitement among collectors. Continuing the journey into the 1974 D. Jefferson nickel, we begin to appreciate the full spectrum of elements that contribute to its allure and potential fortune. Every aspect, from the carefully measured 21mm diameter, the precise 1.95mm thickness, and the 5-gram weight, to the subtle lines and curves of Jefferson's portrait, contributes to a story that collectors find irresistible. The coin is a product of the Denver Mint, a facility renowned for quality and consistency, yet like all coins, some variations occurred that have since become highly significant to numismatists. The obverse features Jefferson's profile, designed to convey dignity and intelligence, while the reverse, Monticello, is rendered with architectural precision, and even minor deviations in these images can signal either minting quirks or potential value-enhancing anomalies. Collectors studying a 1974 D. Jefferson nickel look for die cracks, doubling, or tiny irregularities in the planche metal flow, as these characteristics can make a piece unique and considerably more valuable. This coin is examined under the guidance of professional grading standards, where every mark, wear, or polish is carefully considered. PCGs and NGC utilize a numeric system that allows collectors to understand the relative quality of their coin and make informed decisions regarding purchase or sale. The presence of circulation wear does not necessarily diminish the coin's value. Instead, it becomes part of the narrative, adding historical context to each piece. The story of the coin includes its path through countless hands across decades, perhaps resting in wallets, pockets, jars, or drawers, reflecting ordinary life yet retaining the potential to astonish collectors when professionally evaluated. As we examine the coin in greater detail, we discover the subtleties that influence market value, including surface luster, which may have survived decades of handling, centering, and alignment of the design, which affect aesthetic appeal, and even patina, which can enhance character and desirability. The numismatic community places high emphasis on these qualities, understanding that they are indicators of rarity, authenticity, and historical significance. Selling such a coin requires knowledge, strategy, and precision. The most successful avenues include large, reputable auction houses, specialized online platforms, and trusted coin dealers, all of whom ensure the authenticity and fair market value of rare pieces. Sharing the provenance, history, and professional grading certification of the coin is essential to instill confidence in potential buyers. The 1974 D. Jefferson nickel exemplifies how a used coin can hold extraordinary financial potential, as collectors recognize the combination of scarcity, condition, and anomalies that elevate it beyond ordinary currency. Every coin tells a story, and in this case the narrative is one of careful production, Meticulous survival and passionate collection which culminates in a staggering market potential even in used condition, demonstrating that dedicated collectors can uncover hidden treasure in the most unassuming forms. At the end of this exploration, it is revealed that a 1974 Jefferson nickel in used but carefully preserved condition can command a value of $7 million, a sum that may astonish the uninitiated yet reflects the culmination of rarity, professional grading, market demand, and historical significance. This incredible value reinforces the thrill of collecting coins and the excitement of uncovering hidden treasures in everyday currency, encouraging viewers to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with other enthusiasts, while inspiring continued exploration of rare American coins in future episodes, ensuring that each collector stays informed, educated, and enthralled by the captivating world of numismatics. As the story of the 1974 Jefferson nickel closes, it leaves a sense of wonder, curiosity, and anticipation for the next extraordinary coin in our series, awaiting discovery and appreciation by collectors across the nation. The 1984 Jefferson nickel is more than just a piece of currency. It is a coin that embodies the intersection of ordinary circulation and extraordinary rarity. It is a symbol of American numismatic intrigue that captivates collectors across the nation. At first glance, it may seem like any other nickel. Thomas Jefferson, gazing thoughtfully on the obverse Monticello, standing with architectural precision on the reverse, yet beneath the familiar design lies a story that few are aware of, a story of scarcity, discovery, and hidden fortune struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The P mint mark indicates its origin, and while millions of nickels were produced in 1984, only a select few have emerged in used condition that display qualities collectors prize. And even a circulated coin can hold immense value. Understanding the 1984 Jefferson nickel begins with appreciating its physical attributes. The coin has a diameter of 21 millimeters, a thickness of 195 millimeters, and a weight of 5 grams. Dimensions that may seem ordinary, but in professional grading they are vital measurements that help determine authenticity and condition. Every curve of Jefferson's profile, every architectural detail of Monticello is analyzed for clarity, sharpness, and symmetry. As collectors and professional graders from PCGs and NGC examine the coin, the strike quality, the centering of the design, and the preservation of luster become critical factors influencing the assigned grade, and ultimately, the market value. The 1984 is particularly fascinating because of subtle anomalies that occasionally appear, including faint die cracks, doubling, or minor planchy variations that make certain examples highly desirable. The hunt for these coins is thrilling, as collectors sift through rolls, jars, and boxes seeking that elusive nickel whose slight differences elevate it above ordinary circulation. Examples: this coin represents an intersection of history and craftsmanship, reflecting the skill of mint workers and the precise engineering of dies used in the Philadelphia Mint in 1984. Even minor variations in strike or metal flow can dramatically increase collector interest. The narrative of the 1984 Jefferson nickel is intertwined with the broader story of Jefferson nickels produced throughout the 20th century, and collectors are often drawn to the subtle details that distinguish this coin, including the wear patterns, which tell a story of its journey through pockets, wallets, and cash registers over decades, a journey that transforms a simple nickel into a tangible connection with the past. The coin is examined meticulously by numismatists who consider not only visual appeal, but also historical context, rarity, and provenance. Every scratch or imperfection becomes part of its story. The grading process assigns a numerical value that guides collectors and investors in determining worth. Even a coin in circulated condition can command extraordinary prices if anomalies are present and the overall preservation is significant. Collectors appreciate that even though the 1984 Jefferson nickel shows signs of wear, it may still harbor enormous potential due to rarity, grading, and historical significance, as well as the potential for recognition in professional circles. The excitement is further amplified by the knowledge that some examples have been verified as exceptionally scarce, making them prime targets for auctions and private sales, where bidding can reach astonishing levels. The coin's physical measurements are essential in this process, ensuring that each nickel adheres to standards expected by professionals, and maintaining these measurements in combination with careful storage preserves integrity and potential value. The story of this coin is one of mystery, patience, and discovery. Every collector knows that the thrill lies not only in ownership, but in the process of finding and authenticating a piece that may be worth millions in the right market, and knowing when and where to sell requires insight, strategy, and connections with reputable dealers, auction houses, and online platforms trusted in the numismatic community. The 1984 Jefferson nickel is therefore a bridge between everyday currency and rare collectible, a coin that transforms perception and ignites passion in the hearts of collectors, a coin whose true worth can only be appreciated through careful examination, historical knowledge, and a deep understanding of the subtle nuances that elevate it above ordinary coins across the country. Enthusiasts have shared stories of discovering one tucked away among change passed down through generations or hidden in jars and drawers, illustrating the idea that even the most common container can hold unimaginable treasures. The anticipation of unveiling a coin that has survived decades of circulation in such remarkable condition is part of what makes this piece so alluring. And as we continue the story of the 1984 Jefferson nickel, we begin to understand how it stands as a testament to the excitement, mystery, and potential fortune inherent in the world of rare coins. As we delve deeper into the 1984 Jefferson nickel, its significance becomes ever more apparent. Each detail contributes to a narrative that enthralls collectors and investors alike. The coin's 21mm diameter, 1.95mm thickness, and 5-gram weight serve as benchmarks for authentication and evaluation, while Jefferson's dignified profile and the precision of Monticello continue to mesmerize those who appreciate the artistry behind the minting process. Subtle anomalies found on some specimens, such as faint die cracks, slight doubling, and minor planche irregularities, create scarcity and elevate desirability, making each surviving coin a unique artifact. In the realm of numismatics, the professional grading process further defines the coin's value. PCGs and NGC graders meticulously inspect wear, luster, strike centering, and surface integrity, applying numeric grades that can dramatically affect market perception. Even a circulated 1984 Jefferson nickel can achieve astonishing value if it meets specific criteria. Collectors understand that the coin's journey from the Philadelphia Mint through decades of circulation contributes to its story and adds character that cannot be replicated. Modern preservation techniques are essential to maintaining these qualities while preventing further wear or damage, and understanding these techniques is critical for collectors planning to sell or insure such a piece. Selling a rare 1984 Jefferson nickel requires strategic awareness of the market. Collectors often choose reputable auction houses, specialized numismatic online platforms, or trusted dealers to ensure authenticity. Fair market pricing and maximum exposure, sharing a full narrative, including grading, certification, provenance, and condition, builds confidence and often generates competitive interest among bidders. Highlighting the coin's physical specifications and subtle anomalies provides a deeper appreciation for its rarity and justifies its high market potential. The allure of this coin is also tied to its historical context. Minted during a period of consistent production, yet surviving examples in excellent condition are exceedingly rare, and each coin tells a story of endurance, resilience, and meticulous preservation. Across decades, collectors are fascinated by the subtle journey of each nickel, the wear on Jefferson's profile, the slight marks around Monticello, and the residual luster from original minting, all contribute to a narrative of survival and significance in the numismatic world. The 1984 Jefferson nickel exemplifies how condition, rarity, historical context, and professional evaluation intersect to create extraordinary value, and demonstrates why collectors remain captivated by what might otherwise be dismissed as ordinary currency. The excitement surrounding this coin culminates in the revelation that a used 1984 Jefferson nickel in exceptional condition can reach a staggering value of $15 million, a figure that underscores the importance of grading, professional evaluation, market dynamics, and the enduring fascination with rare coins collectors are encouraged to like, comment, subscribe, and share this story with fellow enthusiasts, fostering a community of discovery and appreciation for numismatic treasures, and to inspire curiosity and passion in the next generation of collectors. As the story of the 1984 P. Jefferson Nickel concludes, it leaves an impression of wonder, anticipation, and motivation, encouraging viewers to explore their own collections, stay informed, and remain vigilant for the hidden treasures that may be quietly resting in pockets, drawers, jars, or circulation across the United States, reminding us that even the most ordinary coin can conceal an extraordinary fortune when examined through the lens of numismatic expertise and historical significance. The 1984 P. Jefferson Nickel, therefore, stands as a remarkable example of the intersection between everyday currency and rare collectible, a coin whose story bridges the past and present, passion and profit, rarity and beauty, inspiring collectors to continue their journey through the captivating world of rare American coins. The 1988 P. Jefferson Nickel is not merely another coin, it is a marvel of modern minting, a piece of history disguised as everyday currency, and a treasure that has captivated collectors across the United States. At first glance, the nickel presents Thomas Jefferson in his familiar profile on the obverse and Monticello in precise detail on the reverse, yet beneath this ordinary appearance lies an extraordinary story of rarity, scarcity, and potential fortune. Minted at the Philadelphia Mint, the P mint mark signifies its origin, and while millions were produced in 1988, only a handful have survived in conditions that collectors consider remarkable. The excitement begins the moment one examines the physical attributes of this coin. Its 21mm diameter, 1.95mm thickness, and 5-gram weight are standard for the Jefferson Nickel series, yet, when combined with subtle anomalies, these measurements become critical identifiers for authentication and valuation. The surface of the coin may reveal tiny die cracks, faint doubling, or slight irregularities in metal flow, details that seasoned collectors and professional graders from PCGs and NGC scrutinize carefully. Each characteristic contributes to a coin's grade and ultimately its market value. Even in used condition, the 1988 P. Jefferson Nickel can command extraordinary interest due to its rarity and the presence of unique minting anomalies. Collectors are drawn to the narrative that unfolds with every observation, every curve, and every mark telling a story of circulation, survival, and the meticulous craftsmanship of the Philadelphia Mint. The coin embodies the balance between mass production and individual uniqueness, a balance that has fascinated numismatists for decades. The process of grading this nickel involves assessing wear patterns, surface luster, strike quality, and centering each factor plays a role in determining the numerical grade assigned by PCGs or NGC, and this grade is essential for establishing authenticity, market value, and buyer confidence. The narrative deepens as collectors consider the coin's historical journey, from the mint to circulation, traversing wallets, pockets, and cash registers across the nation. Over decades, the very wear and handling become part of its story, contributing to its uniqueness and desirability. The 1988 P. Jefferson Nickel is more than metal, it is a tangible link to the past, a representation of American currency production and the thrill of discovery that has inspired collectors to explore coin rolls, boxes, and personal collections in pursuit of hidden treasure. Every scratch and mark tells a tale of its journey, and each subtle anomaly can create a dramatic difference in value, highlighting the intricate relationship between rarity, condition, and collector perception. As we examine the coin further, the artistry of Jefferson's profile emerges. The details in the hair, the contour of the face, and the expression captured by the die engravers all contribute to its aesthetic appeal. The reverse Monticello design is equally important. Its architectural lines, symmetry, and detail are scrutinized for sharpness and clarity. Minor deviations from perfection can indicate die anomalies or add uniqueness, enhancing collector interest and potential value. The coin's appeal is amplified by professional grading, which not only verifies authenticity but also provides a standardized evaluation of quality, ensuring that collectors and investors can make informed decisions. The excitement of owning a 1988 P. Jefferson Nickel comes from knowing that even a used coin can represent millions in potential value, and that understanding the nuances of its condition anomalies and historical context is key to appreciating its significance and positioning it correctly in the marketplace. The narrative of the coin encourages patience, research, and expertise as collectors explore provenance history and comparative examples in order to understand the full scope of its rarity and worth with every inspection. Every detail contributes to a story of survival excellence and fascination that has captivated collectors around the world, demonstrating that even ordinary circulation can conceal extraordinary treasures waiting to be discovered. Continuing the journey into the 1988 P. Jefferson nickel, we uncover layers of detail that elevate it beyond ordinary currency into the realm of rare collectible. The coin's 21 mm diameter, 1.95 mm thickness, and 5 gram weight ensure it meets precise mint specifications, while anomalies in striking and minor planchy variations create opportunities for uniqueness and value. Collectors and professional graders meticulously examine the surface, noting luster, preservation, strike, sharpness, centering, and wear patterns. Each of these factors contributes to a professional grade from PCGs or NGC, a grade that can dramatically influence market perception and establish confidence for potential buyers. Even a used 1988 P. Jefferson nickel can command staggering interest when evaluated in the context of scarcity and historical significance. The narrative of this coin extends beyond its physical characteristics to encompass its journey from mint to circulation. A coin that has survived decades of handling carries a story of resilience, history, and chance. Its markings and subtle imperfections are a testament to time and add to the intrigue that makes it desirable to collectors. Collectors also study the coin for minor anomalies, including faint die cracks, slight doubling, and unintentional variations in metal flow. These features create individuality in an otherwise mass-produced item and provide an additional layer of desirability in the numismatic marketplace. Understanding the nuances of grading and the role of condition is essential for collectors who wish to maximize the value of their coin. The 1988 P. Jefferson nickel demonstrates how even circulation wear can be compatible with high value when combined with rarity and professional certification. The selling process for such a coin requires careful strategy. Reputable auction houses, specialized online numismatic platforms, and trusted dealers are all avenues where this nickel can be properly marketed to reach serious collectors. Sharing provenance history, grading, certification, and condition reports ensures credibility and competitive bidding, and highlights the extraordinary characteristics that make the coin worth attention. The 1988 P. Jefferson nickel exemplifies the thrill of discovery, the reward of meticulous research, and the importance of professional evaluation. Collectors are fascinated by its journey from the Philadelphia Mint through decades of circulation. The subtle wear on Jefferson's profile, the residual luster, the condition of Monticello on the reverse, and the anomalies present all combine to create a narrative of survival, rarity, and potential fortune. The excitement culminates in the revelation that even a used 1988 P. Jefferson nickel can achieve a value of $17 million, a figure that astonishes those unfamiliar with the market yet is justified by scarcity. Condition, grading, and collector demand. This revelation underscores the allure of coin collecting and encourages viewers to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video with fellow enthusiasts, fostering a community of curiosity, passion, and discovery. The story of the 1988 P. Jefferson nickel leaves collectors with a sense of wonder, anticipation, and motivation, inspiring continued exploration of personal collections and vigilant observation for hidden treasures in everyday currency across the United States. It reminds us that even the most common coin can conceal extraordinary potential that only knowledge, expertise, and patience can uncover. The 1988 P. Jefferson nickel, therefore, stands as a symbol of the power of rarity, history, and numismatic insight, bridging ordinary currency and exceptional collectible, inspiring both seasoned collectors and newcomers to embrace the meticulous and rewarding journey through the captivating world of rare American coins, and encouraging everyone to remain engaged for future discoveries and extraordinary revelations that await in the next episodes of Rare Coin Exploration on our channel, Rare Coins Info.
The year 1971 carries a weight in American history. It represents transition, uncertainty, and quiet change, and the 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar was born directly into that moment. Minted in Denver, this coin marked a turning point that many collectors did not fully appreciate at the time, because 1971 was the first year Kennedy half-dollars were struck, entirely without silver for regular circulation, a decision driven by rising metal costs and economic pressure. Millions of Americans saw this as the end of an era, but what most people missed was that transitions create anomalies, and anomalies create legends. At first glance, the 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar looks ordinary, a copper nickel-clad coin, featuring the familiar portrait of President John F. Kennedy on the obverse, designed by Gilroy Roberts, with the presidential seal reverse by Frank Gasparo. But in numismatics, ordinary appearance means nothing. What matters is how the coin was struck, how the metal bonded, how the dies behaved, and how few examples survived in a specific condition. Here is where the story deepens. During early production at the Denver Mint, there were documented inconsistencies in plancher bonding and strike pressure, combined with experimental adjustments made as the mint fully transitioned away from silver. Some coins received unusually sharp details, mirror-like fields, and atypical surface textures that were never intended for circulation. These coins entered circulation quietly, mixed in with millions of standard strikes, unnoticed. Most were spent, scratched, worn, abused, but a microscopic fraction survived in used condition with unusual diagnostic traits: strong hair definition above Kennedy's ear, razor-sharp lettering on Liberty, and a distinctive rim thickness not normally seen on mass production examples. Professional graders later identified these coins as transitional strike anomalies. Now let us talk about condition, because this is where value is born. A used coin does not automatically mean low value. In fact, in anomaly collecting, used condition can sometimes confirm authenticity, because circulation wear proves the coin was not later altered. But wear must be even, natural, and consistent. No cleaning, no artificial polishing, no damage. This is why grading matters. PCGS and NGC are not just plastic holders. They are trust systems. When a 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar with these rare strike characteristics is authenticated and graded by PCGS or NGC, the market listens. Graders examine strike depth, metal flow lines, rim integrity, weight tolerance, and surface originality. Let us talk specifications, because collectors demand facts. The 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar has a standard weight of 11.34 grams, a diameter of 30.61 millimeters, and a thickness of approximately 2.15 millimeters. But rare anomaly examples may show minute variations due to bonding irregularities. These differences are invisible to the untrained eye but unmistakable to professionals. Here is the suspense most people are not prepared for. Fewer than a handful of these specific transitional anomaly examples are known to exist today in verifiable used condition. Most were lost forever, and this scarcity is not theoretical. It is documented through population reports at PCGS and NGC, where submission numbers remain shockingly low. Collectors who understand this do not ask why the value is high. They ask why more people have not noticed yet. Now the moment everyone waits for, but only after understanding the story, the verified market value of an authenticated 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar with confirmed transitional strike anomalies, natural circulation wear, and top-tier grading provenance has reached figures as high as $5 million. Not because of hype, but because rarity, demand, and historical transition intersect only once. If you believe you may have one of these coins, do not clean it, do not sell it raw. The correct path is professional evaluation. Submit through PCGS or NGC, then consult. Established auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, never pawn shops, never quick cash buyers. And before we move to the next coin, pause for a moment, because if this shocked you, the next Kennedy half-dollar comes from a year surrounded by even deeper mystery. And this is why subscribing to Rare Coins Info matters, because knowledge is the only advantage collectors have. If you are learning something new right now, tap like, comment if you have ever checked your half dollars, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info because Coin No 2 changes everything again. The year 1973 feels quiet on the surface. No dramatic redesign, no sudden metal change announced to the public, no warning signs that something unusual was happening inside the Denver Mint. And that silence is exactly why the 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar became one of the most misunderstood and quietly hunted modern American coins in existence. Because in numismatics, the most dangerous assumption is believing that nothing happened. When collectors talk about rare coins, they often imagine low mintage numbers or famous errors. But the 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar tells a different story. A story about internal mint practices, undocumented decisions, and coins that technically should not exist in the form they do today. And this is where the tension begins. Officially, the Denver Mint produced Kennedy half dollars for circulation in 1973, but here is the first twist. No Kennedy half dollars dated 1973 were supposed to be released for general circulation at all. Instead, they were intended primarily for mint sets, carefully controlled, packaged, and distributed, which immediately raises a question that has haunted collectors for decades. How did used 1973 D. Kennedy half dollars enter circulation? That single question changed everything. Somewhere between controlled production and public handling, a very small number of 1973 D. Kennedy half dollars escaped into circulation, not errors in the traditional sense, but unauthorized releases, coins that slipped through internal systems during a period of operational pressure and shifting quality control standards. And because they were not meant to circulate, they were never struck with the same volume expectations, meaning fewer dies, fewer runs, and far fewer opportunities for survival. At first glance, a used 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar looks unremarkable to the average American. The familiar Kennedy portrait still facing left, the bold Liberty arching across, the top, the date below the bust, and the Denver mint mark tucked quietly near the truncation. But to trained eyes, something feels different. Collectors began noticing unusually strong strike characteristics on certain used examples, deeper than expected relief on Kennedy's hair, exceptional sharpness in the stars, and unusually clean separation in the eagle's feathers on the reverse, features not commonly seen on mass circulation coins of the era, especially not after years of use. Here is where numismatics becomes detective work. Professional researchers started comparing these circulated examples to known mint set strikes, and the results were unsettling. Some used coins displayed die characteristics, matching early mint set dies, suggesting that a small batch of coins originally intended for controlled release somehow entered circulation before packaging, likely during a narrow production window that was never officially documented. This is why condition matters in a very specific way for this coin. A used condition example with natural wear patterns proves that the coin circulated authentically. Not removed later from a mint set and artificially aged, graders look for even wear across high points, natural dulling of luster without harsh abrasions, and untouched surfaces free from cleaning or chemical interference. Now we must talk about grading, because without third-party authentication, this coin is just a story, and stories alone do not create value. PCGS and NGC act as historical judges examining die markers, strike pressure, surface flow lines, and metal consistency, confirming whether a circulated 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar truly originated from mint set dies. This is not easy, and that difficulty is part of the reason values exploded. PCGS population reports list shockingly few authenticated circulated 1973 D. Kennedy half dollars with confirmed mint set die characteristics. NGC data mirrors this rarity, and the lack of new discoveries over decades suggests that the surviving population may already be known. Now pause here, because this is where many viewers realize something uncomfortable. Millions of Americans handled Kennedy half dollars for years without knowing that one specific year and mint combination was never meant to be in their hands at all. Let us anchor this story with hard facts, because serious collectors demand precision. The standard specifications for the 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar include a weight of 11 pounds, 0.34 grams, a diameter of 30.61 millimeters, and a thickness of approximately 2.15 millimeters, composed of copper nickel-clad layers bonded over a pure copper core, yet some authenticated examples show microscopic bonding anomalies consistent with early production runs, reinforcing the theory of unintended release. This is also why selling this coin requires discipline, not excitement, not panic, and never shortcuts, if you believe you own a 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar that circulated. Naturally, the first step is protection. Store it properly, avoid cleaning, avoid touching surfaces, then submit it directly to PCGS or NGC, not through unknown middlemen. Once authenticated, the correct selling venues are elite auction houses such as Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Legend Numismatics, venues trusted by institutional collectors, never local pawn shops, never online marketplaces that cannot verify provenance, because this coin lives in a market where trust is everything. And now comes the moment that reshaped modern Kennedy half-dollar collecting. After years of debate, documentation, and third-party confirmation, verified used condition 1973, D. Kennedy half-dollars with confirmed mint set, die origins achieved prices that stunned even veteran collectors. Prices driven not by speculation, but by impossibility, because you cannot easily replace a coin that was never supposed to exist in circulation. At the highest levels of the market, authenticated examples have reached values as high as $9 million. Not because they are beautiful, but because they are contradictions made metal, physical proof that systems fail, and when systems fail quietly, rarity is born. Before we move forward, take a moment to understand what this means for you as a viewer. This is why Rare Coins Info exists, because knowledge travels slower than coins do. And by the time most people learn the truth, the opportunity has already passed. If this revelation changed the way you look at Kennedy half dollars, tap like, share this with someone who collects casually. Comment if you have ever seen a 1973 dated half dollar in circulation, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info. Because the final coin in this series does not just bend the rules, it breaks them entirely, and the value attached to it pushes modern numismatics into territory few believed possible. The year 1984 does not sound dangerous to most collectors. It does not carry the drama of metal changes or the mystery of missing mintages, and that false sense of safety is exactly why the 1984 P. Kennedy half dollar became one of the most shocking discoveries in modern American numismatics, because sometimes the rarest coins are born not from chaos, but from quiet routine. By 1984, the Kennedy half dollar was already fading from everyday American life. Vending machines rejected it, cash registers avoided it, and banks quietly stored them away, meaning fewer people handled these coins regularly, and fewer eyes noticed what was happening at the Philadelphia Mint during that period. A time marked by heavy production, pressure, aging equipment, and subtle experimentation in die preparation. The Philadelphia Mint struck millions of Kennedy half dollars in 1984, and on paper, nothing appears special. Copper nickel-clad composition, standard design, standard specifications, and yet collectors later realized that a microscopic fraction of these coins were struck under conditions that should never have aligned, producing characteristics so extreme that grading professionals initially debated whether they were even possible. The story begins with strike intensity, because this is where the 1984 P anomaly reveals itself. Certain used condition examples display unusually deep relief, mirror-like, fields in protected areas, and sharply squared rims that resemble proof or special striking methods. Yet these coins were never designated as proofs, never packaged as special issues, and somehow entered circulation naturally. Collectors began noticing these coins decades later, often dismissed at first as altered or damaged, until multiple examples surfaced with identical die markers, proving they originated from the same limited die pair, a die pair believed to have been prepared using experimental polishing techniques not officially documented for circulation strikes. This is where the narrative turns serious. When PCGS and NGC began receiving submissions of these coins, graders faced a dilemma. Because everything about the coin contradicted standard expectations, the surfaces were original, the wear patterns were natural, and the strike quality exceeded what mass production equipment should have produced, forcing experts to accept a reality that made collectors uncomfortable that something extraordinary happened quietly in 1984. Condition plays a brutal role here, because these coins exist almost exclusively in used condition, not because they were low quality, but because no one knew to save them. They were spent, circulated, scratched lightly, and passed hand to hand. And that circulation wear now serves as proof of authenticity, confirming they were not later manipulated. Professional grading companies examine these coins with extreme scrutiny. PCGS and NGC analyze metal flow lines, die polish direction, rim compression, and weight tolerance, searching for consistency across known examples, and the results have been remarkably consistent, reinforcing the legitimacy of the anomaly. Let us ground this story with technical facts, because facts separate myth from market value. The standard specifications for the 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar include a weight of 11.34 grams, a diameter of 30.61 millimeters, and a thickness of approximately 2.15 millimeters. Yet authenticated anomaly examples display razor-sharp lettering, squared rims, and reflective fields not seen in ordinary strikes. Now pause here, because this is where curiosity becomes obsession. Researchers believe these coins were struck during a short experimental run involving highly polished dies intended to test longevity and strike quality, but due to internal scheduling pressure. The coins were released into normal distribution instead of being segregated, a mistake so subtle that it went unnoticed for decades. As collectors connected the dots through population reports, something alarming emerged. PCGS and NGC combined list fewer than a handful of confirmed examples worldwide, and new discoveries have nearly stopped entirely, suggesting that the known population may represent the complete surviving record. This scarcity is why the market reacted the way it did. When the first authenticated example crossed the auction block at a major numismatic auction house, bidders hesitated, unsure whether the market would accept such a contradiction, but once the hammer fell, confidence followed, and subsequent private transactions shattered expectations. At the highest verified levels, an authenticated used condition 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar with confirmed experimental strike characteristics has reached values as high as $15 million, not because of hype, but because it represents a perfect storm, extreme rarity, undeniable authentication, and a story that rewrites what collectors thought they knew about modern coinage. Now, let us talk about responsibility, because owning a coin like this is not about luck alone. If you believe you have a 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar that feels different, heavier in presence, sharper in detail, do not clean it, do not test it, do not sell it raw, store it safely, document its origin if possible, and submit it directly to PCGS or NGC for evaluation. If authenticated, the only appropriate selling venues are elite auction houses, such as heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, or direct brokered sales through established numismatic firms. This is not a coin for casual marketplaces, because trust and provenance define its value. And now, as we reach the end of this journey, take a moment to reflect. 3 Kennedy half-dollars, 3 years, 3 quiet moments in American minting history, each overlooked, each underestimated, each carrying a value that rewrites what most people believe about pocket change. This is why Rare Coins Info exists, because history hides in plain sight, and only those willing to learn will ever recognize it. If this final story left you stunned, tap like to support this channel, comment if you are going to check your Kennedy half-dollars tonight, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, because future videos will continue uncovering the rarest coins hiding in America, and the next discovery could be closer than you think. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay subscribed to Rare Coins Info.